Wow. I'm gonna I'm gonna really miss the 40 day, that's for sure. Happy Sunday, everyone. It's good to see you. And it's always an honor and a special privilege to be able to be a part of this community, and especially to be able to share a Sunday morning message. So let's get started. All right, so this is looking at me or looking at myself is the topic, okay? And before I go into the topic, I just want us to keep in mind why we're here. We're here for a very simple purpose, which is to fulfill God's dream. And God's dream was to create one heavenly family in which all people would be included, right? So I think it's always good for us to remember why we're coming to Sunday service and what should be kind of the goal and the vision that we all share together is to build this beautiful family and finally fulfill God's dream. Aju? All right, and so with that, just want to say welcome home. That's a spirit of family and home, right? And Thanksgiving. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? I hope that you did. Who likes turkey? Who prefers ham? Who prefers chicken? Who prefers a nice steak? Okay. All right. So anyway, one thing I wanted to say thank you to everyone. We had a wonderful service last Sunday, and you cooked and you brought food. You brought your warm hearts, and it was really a wonderful experience just to be together as family. So I want to thank you all for that, for your hard work and your investment. And then, today's topic is a little bit serious. So I thought maybe we should begin with a little humor. You got to balance things out, right? Humor is an important part of life. It helps us get through difficult times. I can never forget, one of my kids came home from school and they had this joke that they had learned. And at that time I was leading a large team, witnessing team, fundraising teams, and a lot of pressure. But the joy that he had, that he had, got this joke and he wanted to say it, I'll never forget that. That joke was, why is the number 10 so nervous? And the answer is because 7, 8, 9. So for those of you who are foreigners, right? The number 8, that word 8, also means like when you eat something. Like if I eat a hot dog, I ate the hot dog, right? So, Ryuichi he's beginning to get it, okay? So the reason the number 10 was so nervous is because 7, 8, 9, and 10 was next. Okay. Anyway, the main point was that to see my child be so happy and so proud that he, had figured out this joke. So humor can really help sometimes, right? All right, so here's a few a little bit of Thanksgiving humor before we leave Thanksgiving behind. Okay? So why did the turkey cross the road? To prove he wasn't chicken. Right? So a very famous joke is why did the chicken cross the road? But this time it's a turkey. All right. I heard a few chuckles. My goal is to get Michael G. and Polly to laugh. If I can get him to laugh, I'll be doing good. Okay, what sound does a turkey's phone make? Wing, wing, wing. No, Michael's shaking his head. No. Okay. Okay, this one made me laugh. When I read it, I laughed, okay? What did the turkey say to the computer? Google, Google, Google. Michael's still saying no. Okay, how about this one? Which side of the turkey has the most feathers? The outside. Which side of the turkey has the most feathers? It's the outside. Okay. What do you call a running turkey? What do you call a running turkey? Fast food. Okay, what do you call a turkey? What do you call a turkey the day after Thanksgiving? Lucky. Very lucky. Okay. Okay, what's the key to a great Thanksgiving dinner? Turkey. All right? Okay, and I'll finish with this. How does Thanksgiving always end? How does Thanksgiving always end? With the letter G. Right? Thanksgiving, the word Thanksgiving ends with the letter G. Hey, I got an applause from Michael G. and Polly. All right, so let's move on to more serious business. Next slide, okay. So looking at myself is the topic for this sermon today. This is not an easy thing to do, but it's really important, okay? In 31 days, we're going to begin a new year. Okay? And in December, we often get busy with things. But I just want to say how important it is for us to take time to reflect and to look at myself. Okay? Especially now, when True Mother's in the detention center. You know, right now, it's the evening time, Sunday, right? It's morning in Korea? No, when it's morning here, isn't it evening there? Early morning, okay. So I would say it's super late night. Anyway, in a few hours, my point is, in a few hours, the sun's going to come up in Korea. It's going to be Monday, December 1st, and this is the first day of the trial for our beloved True Mother. Yeah. So it's really a serious time, serious moment. I'm sure for our lawyers, it's an incredibly heavy and serious moment for them as they are preparing. And I'm sure we're all praying for them, that they can have heavenly wisdom, right? Yeah. Right, so in light of this, I'd like to talk about the importance of reflecting on myself. Next slide. So this is a famous quote from Socrates. I don't know if you've heard it before, but it is, "The unexamined life is not worth living." If you don't take time to stop and examine your own life, then most likely your life is going to be a wasted life. It's not going to be the life that you will be proud of when you leave this world. And most likely, you will have many regrets. Yeah. Now, I wish I could say, hey, we can just go with a heart, and just live our lives and not worry so much and just follow our hearts, our emotions, and all these things. Okay? If we're living in a true world where we have true relationships with God and with each other, yes, maybe that's the kind of life we could live. But we, living in this fallen world, coming out of a fallen state, fighting to build God's family, God's home in this world, we do not have the luxury to just live our lives carefree, or just follow our hearts, or just follow, what we feel day by day. We do not have that luxury. No. There is this huge effort going on as God has tried to save humanity. Because people made so many mistakes, it's been stretched out for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And if we keep making those mistakes, it's going to be extended even further. Yeah. So we don't have the luxury to live a spontaneous life. We have to take life really seriously, and we have to stop and take time to look at who I am and what I'm doing and how I'm living my life. Right? Okay, next slide. At the Junction 1, when we do the prayer vigils, devotion, we always sing the Japanese fight song. And when I'm singing that song, I always feel like I'm saying to my ancestors, help our brothers and sisters in Japan, right? Because as you know, there's an effort in Japan to kind of end our church as an organization in that country. Anyway, in that song, there's one line in the early part of the song, and it says, "The people around me are spending time without knowing." And whenever I sing that verse, it always kind of touches my heart. Yeah. And it makes me ask myself, am I spending my time also without knowing and letting time go by without knowing what's really going on from God's heart, from God's viewpoint? Next slide. So here's a parable. If you're familiar with the Bible, you may know it already, but I'll read it. This is from Luke chapter 12. And he told them this parable. Okay, this is Jesus speaking. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, "What shall I do? I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry." But God said to him, "You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God." Right, so this is a famous parable. It's kind of the theme or the inspiration behind Mr. Scrooge, the Christmas Carol, if you know that story, right? Yeah. Next slide. And here's a quote from True Father and from our Holy Mother Han, from True Father. "Before we talk about peace among nations, we must settle our peace with God." Okay? So before we can go out and make peace in this world, we have to look inside ourselves and make our own peace with God. And from that, we know our recent theme, right? Peace starts with me, right? And from Holy Mother Han, "I have but one life goal, to live in utmost gratitude. Today I will be more grateful than yesterday. Tomorrow I will be yet more grateful." That's not easy, especially when mother is sitting now or lying down now in a detention center and facing the challenges that are ahead of her. Right? So at this point, I would like to read. I didn't originally plan for this, but on the way here, my wife was reading out loud from this wonderful book, The Only Begotten Daughter, True Mother, in the Words of True Parents. And I'd like to read a passage from True Mother. Finally, there's something I want to say to all of you. Through my own experiences, I came to understand much about God, much about how God fulfills the divine will. In my life, I've passed through both heaven and hell, and I came to realize that both experiences were necessary to properly shape my character. If I had experienced only the joys of heaven, I would not be able to so deeply taste and feel grateful for life in the kingdom of heaven. I have even passed through the bottom of hell and tasted its bitterness. There were countless times when I asked, I have no more strength to walk this difficult path. It's impossible for me to continue. God, why are you asking me to follow this road? In those moments, I had to have unyielding faith, resolution, and patience. And that is what shaped who I am today. One more thing I want to say is that on the path to the kingdom of heaven, you also must not expect to meet with only heavenly experiences. You naturally should expect the experience of hell too. You should expect to pass through the bottom of hell. But these are truly the most precious experiences by which you will feel God's grace. When you overcome these things, you will be able to stand more firmly and strongly, mature a well-rounded and comprehensive personality, and gain a deeper understanding of the kingdom of heaven. Someday, these personal experiences will be your pride. Isn't that a beautiful quote? Next slide. All right, so I drew a diagram. I like to see things visibly, okay? So I suggest you do something similar. You can take a picture if you like, okay? But I would like to kind of walk through a few things here as we reflect on ourselves before we begin the new year. All right? So next slide, please. So it really starts here, okay? Whether you're a man or a woman, you're in that heart, okay? Some of you are still single, okay? And many of us are couples. Hi. We are couples, right? So when we reflect about ourselves, this is where we need to start. My relationship of heart with God. It is the most important thing. Yeah. So we need to each take a moment to think, what is my relationship with God? Do I feel God's love? Do I feel love towards God? Right? But that's where we need to start. So I want everyone in the room to close your eyes for just a moment. And I want you to say these words after me, okay? I am so confident to know that without me, God cannot be happy. All right, thank you. So that's a quote from True Father that really helped me a lot over the years. Yeah. So I just want you to know to begin with, and this sometimes takes time to reflect, is that you are deeply loved by God. God will never stop loving you. And that no matter how difficult your life may be at this moment, in the end, ultimately, God will never stop until you are truly, truly happy and fulfilled. Right? So isn't that good news? So it means no matter how difficult I am now or what I'm struggling with, but this is the most important good news. All right. Then if you're a couple, it's really important to reflect about your relationship with your spouse. So as you take time to reflect, it's important to think not only your relationship with God, but how is my relationship with my spouse? Yeah. Because really that person in your life is God. God in my life is Lydia. Yeah. And so this is the second point to consider. And then as we go vertically, we have family pledge. In general, we have hundake. We have God's word that has been given to us, right? So anyway, first heart. Before any words, first there's heart. And then we have these amazing words, including the motto for this year, right, 2013. So I think it's good to review these, reflect on these, okay? And then, of course, on that foundation, we have our life of prayer. So I think it's good for us to reflect about how is my life of prayer going, okay? So this exercise takes more than just like 5-10 minutes, okay? We're talking about sitting down for some period of time. So that's why I want to really encourage everyone to set aside some time where you can really just walk through some certain points. All right, so prayer. And along with prayer, which is really important, which I'm talking about in this sermon, is reflection. Okay? So I really want to encourage you when you do this to have paper and pen, so that as you reflect and as you receive inspiration through prayer, you can write down those points. Okay? And then, of course, we have True Mother with us still. So True Mother's ongoing guidance is so critical for all of us, right? And then what I want to also suggest, if you can do this, is to reflect at the Chungshim one. Yeah. Chungshim one is very busy late at night, the devotions, and that's a great place to make offering and participate in devotion. But during the day, there's also we have the opportunity individually to go, and it's really nice because Chungshim one has an open space, and in the back there are chairs, right? So if you're older like me, you can go in and you can just sit in the back and pray and talk to God and talk to true parents and just reflect on your life, right? Okay, next slide. All right, so where does this lead to? Ultimately, we are seeking to have a hyojung heart towards the public providence. Okay? Because True Mother's primary guidance for all of us is unity. She's asking us to unite. And just recently, Dr. Kim, he shared with us, I think he was on the video, maybe? I forget exactly what the circumstance, but he asked the question, what's the most difficult thing? Do you remember that recently? And his answer was, to become one. This is the most difficult thing. I remember for years and years and years, sometimes, Father's main topic was mind-body unity. Father kept pushing this point over the years. Yeah. And we all know Chanogok is what? What is Chanogok? It's where two become one. Yeah. And Mother's asking us, now while she's in the detention center, she's asking us, in terms of the ongoing, guidance from True Mother, one of the most important things is our unity. And that's not easy, okay? It begins with unity between my heart and my body, my actions. And then there's unity between myself and my spouse, right? And there's unity with the public providence. And the goal of all this, we should always keep in mind, is to fulfill God's dream. It's not complicated. We're all here as God's children to help God's dream come true. Yeah. And another point, no matter how far we may be from that dream in our particular situation, whether it's in personal struggles I'm going through, or whether it's some distance between me and my spouse and the struggles there, it's okay. Every problem, every difficult situation can be solved, right? But what we need to do is we need to grasp what that problem is first. Once you grasp what it is, then you can say to yourself, okay, this is my problem, okay? God has shown me this is my shortcoming, or this is my difficulty. And now, God has also assured me that there's a way to heal that, or fix that, or make it better, right? Even if it takes a long time, right? How many thousands of years did people live in a primitive state, offering human sacrifices and just living a miserable, miserable life, right? And look at us today, with the foundation of the religious people of the world and the Christian foundation, and now we have this nation of America. Look at us living. If people 10,000 years ago could see how we're living today, they would say, whoa, that's the kingdom of heaven. Like that. So even the most difficult situations, God has a way to work and to bring victory. Yeah. And that's also true for your life and my life. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so one aspect of our responsibilities, moving here to the left, is about tribal messiahship, okay? So especially for those who are blessed, those of us who are blessed couples, and those who are single, young, you can support your parents in helping them along this path, right? So as tribal messiahs, what? We have our bloodline, that's my children and our grandchildren, for example. And we also have our spiritual children. See that on the left? Do you see it on the left? Thank you. Okay. Then, those people, right, our children and our spiritual children, we need to have ongoing education and guidance, okay? We need to give ongoing education and guidance. It's never just a one-shot thing. Being a Messiah, a tribal Messiah, becoming true parents to our own children and our spiritual family is an ongoing effort, right? And then I put a little red dot there near learning Korean. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. So I put the red dot near a few things which I thought maybe we could change or make a difference rather quickly, okay? All right. Then the next circle going out is our goals and our plans, okay? And that is not only about your tribal messiahship, but that's going to extend also over to the right side. I'm going to explain that as well. All right? But goals and plans, I double line under plan. So I really want to encourage you, sitting down there, reflecting about your life and your relationship with God and your family and all these things, to begin to actually write down some possible action steps, plans that you can make. Okay? For what? Well, for your children and for your spiritual children as a child of Messiah. So what areas should you think about? Well, one area is health. Okay? Am I healthy? Right? What about the health of my children? This is fundamental. What kind of food am I feeding them, right? What kind of diet do we have? Do we exercise? Do we do things together, right? So right there, you might think, oh yeah, we could actually do something more in this area, right? What else? Of course, you have to provide shelter, right? Clothing, you have to maintain your life, maintenance. Cleanliness, okay? I put a little red dot next to cleanliness. That's one thing we can make a difference in really quickly, okay? So how many here can imagine your house being a little bit cleaner than it is right now? Anyone can imagine that? I know I can, for sure. Especially my office space. Okay? So cleanliness can make a big difference in your spiritual life. Okay? And then your career, finances, that's a big one, right? We all need money. We can't survive without money. So I want to encourage you to review your budget, okay? Before you enter the new year, this takes a little bit of time, but go through your budget. You know, how are you doing? How much money is spent on your heat or on your automobile or gas or food and this and that and recreation? I hope everyone here, you have some kind of budget, right, where you are actually planning. Which is really important because part of the budget, as I'll share later, is about tithing. And that's going to make a huge impact on your spiritual life. Okay, next slide. All right. So recently, I thought about learning Korean because it came up a few times from True Mother, right? And how many of us feel a little bit guilty because we haven't learned Korean yet? Anybody feel a little bit guilty? Yeah. When I was younger in the church, I tried so hard to learn Korean. I got all these books and was memorizing words and vocabulary and all this stuff. And then I had an experience that I got so discouraged and I kind of gave up. All right. But you know, one way you can learn Korean, and this can help kind of kill two birds with one stone, is if you participate in the prayer vigils at the Cheongshimwon. Yeah. Because there we always sing songs like this one, and they always have the English with the Korean together. And when you sing these songs like 100 times or 500 times, 1,000 times, Ryuchi maybe 10,000 times, you begin to realize, oh yeah, that means this, right? So like here, on the bottom, right, it says, Han Ma'um, right? So you sing that over and over again. What is that? You look at the English, right? With one heart. Aha. So Han is one, Ma'um, heart. And then it says Han again, doesn't it? And you look up and it says, oh, yeah, the word one is there again. It's and one will. Ah, Han Dut, right? Oh, one will. So it's kind of interesting. So in other words, when you sing these songs over and over again, you begin to notice, oh yeah, that's this word, or that's this word. And although you're not learning a lot, but you are learning some basic things, like one heart, one will. Okay? All right? And then the bottom, Chun Chim. What does Chun Chim sound like? Chun Chim. Have you ever heard the word Chun Chim before? Right? That's the place over at, where we go pray, right? The Chun Chim one. Right? So Chun Chim Wan E So. So that's at the Chun Chim Wan, Hanaga Dwe Ri, right? So we will become one. All right, next slide. One more. Okay. Here in Cheongshim-won, I offer all my heart to my parents. So, I got Cheongshim-won eso. So we see it again. Ah, Cheongshim-won. Oh, that must be, oh yeah, that's where I'm praying, Cheongshim-won. So when you sing these songs a few times, you begin to get it. Oh yeah. And then what? It's I got, this place. Then you begin to learn these things. So, modun ma'um, right? All my heart. So modun is all, is that right? Hey, see, I got it. All my heart. Pumonim. Have you ever heard pumonim before? We all know that, right? So when you know the word and you sing it in the song, you kind of feel good. Oh yeah, I know that, Then you can sing it with more enthusiasm. And then dwe, do-ri-ri. So I wasn't so sure about that. So after singing this song for a number of times, I went to check. What is do-di-di? So do-di-da is a humble form to give or to offer, often used in religious or respectful contexts. I just Googled it to check. So what I'm saying is that even things like learning Korean, although we may not be able to learn it fluently, maybe won't be able to, read all of Father's speeches and understand them. But even something small like this, as we get ready for the new year, because True Mother is asking us in her heart, she's asking us, please learn Korean, right? She's asking us this with love, with her heart. So I'm just saying, okay, well, I can't do that much. I don't have much time, but I could go and sing these songs, and I could at least learn a few words one at a time, but boom, boom, like this. In that way, we can actually, when we come in front of True Mother, we can say, well, I've been making some effort, even learning Korean. Okay, next slide. All right, so here's the other side, okay? On the other side, you have, look at the top, Public Providence, then you have Las Vegas Family Church. That's us. Aju? Okay. All right, so attendance, that's very important. So attending Sunday service and other programs. There's other programs or other events and programs, right? So that's something to reflect about, okay? So as you're reflecting through your life, getting ready for the new year, you can reflect on attending Sunday service. Maybe you attend Sunday service regularly, but maybe you've been going regularly and you're kind of tired of it. So then maybe in your case, you might reflect, how can I make Sunday service more meaningful? Because I go there every Sunday. And then you can maybe set some kind of plan. Like, okay, before we go, my wife and I, we're going to pray together first. Or before we go, we're going to decide, maybe somebody we'll talk to at the Sunday service and who we will encourage, maybe at the lunchtime. Or when we go this time, I'm going to try to sing the songs with more enthusiasm. And it could be anything, right? But my point is we should reflect on how we attend Sunday service, okay? All right, then what else? Tithe and offering. That's connected to budget. Tithing and offering is really important. So we should talk with our spouse, or we should check, okay, how are we doing with tithing? So far we've been tithing, let's say, 6%, okay? We haven't reached 10% yet, but we've been giving 6%. Okay, so this coming year, let's challenge 8%, something like that. Okay? All right. Then we have many ministries, right? We have outreach ministry. The announcement was made today that there's no meeting tomorrow for the outreach, okay? But in outreach, it's not only the witnessing, there's Women's Federation, there's CARP, there's New Hope Foundation, there's ACLC, there's UPF, there's all the service projects. What else? We have Sunday school ministry, we have youth ministry, young adult, 55 plus. We have now Pray and Play. It's a great program of young families. What else do we have? We have Haven Street Brand. They invest so much. We have the tech team. We have the greeters who greet us here at Sunday service. Give them a hand. Where's Wendy? Wendy, stand up. Okay, give Wendy a hand. We have Fief and we have others. I'm sure I must have missed something. My point is, it's good to reflect and think, okay, this coming year, we should participate or support at least one of these ministries. You can pick more than one. But at least all of us here, we should take time by ourselves, or if we're blessed with our spouse, and think about it. Okay, where can we invest? Where can we support? Where can we help in some way? Okay. All right, so that's the whole diagram. And I think all of these things, for me, it's valuable before the new year begins just to sit down and go through them one by one. And as much as possible, make a plan, okay, that we can implement. Okay. All right, next slide. So I wanted to add this other point. Mark Twain was a philosopher, a man of great humor in American culture. I don't know if you've heard of Mark Twain before. But he says in response to Socrates, he says, the unexamined life may not be worth living, okay, which is Socrates' claim. Then he goes on to say, but the life too closely examined may not be lived at all. Okay. In other words, we can spend too much effort and too much worry about looking at myself and where I'm at. Okay? So we should be careful not to do that. So I'm not encouraging you to get drowned, to drown yourself in self-reflection, going forward. Most important, that's why I say, is the plan. And the things that I'm going to do in the new year that can make a difference and can help God and my true parents build God's family, that can help my family become better, healthier, happier, that can help my community become more victorious. Okay? All right, next slide. All right, so I want to share one brief testimony in conclusion. When I look back at the time that I reflected most deeply, it was when I first joined our movement. And I think if I had not spent that time reflecting, I would certainly not be here today. That's for sure. So I've already shared my testimony before, but I had a really powerful spiritual experience. But the problem was, I really did not want to go the way of a religious person. That's the last thing I ever wanted to do in my life. But what I did was, that late night, it was around midnight, is I sat at the chair of the kitchen table in the dark for several hours. And I just took time and I reflected on my life. And in doing that, I was able to realize, a life lived helping God make this world a good world, that would be a good life. Right? And that's where I made my decision, which I have never let go of. Right? So if we don't stop and reflect, we really are putting ourselves in great danger. In the 40-day, we read Father's speech about gaining spiritual help. There's one quote there where Father says, before you say something to someone, check it 3 times. Okay? So this is a good example of reflecting on our life, right? Where you're going to give someone advice, or you're going to be critical, or you're going to say something to someone. And Father's saying, okay, but before you say that, stop and ask yourself, is this really what God wants me to say? And then before you decide to do it, stop again and check a second time. And then even you decide to do it, stop again and check a third time. Yeah. So I just want to emphasize this point, that we need to stop and reflect on my life. And if we do that, we're not going to get it perfect this year, 2026, but we can certainly make 2026 a better year than 2025. Don't you think? Right? If Mother can find more gratitude in every day going forward, then I at least can make this coming year a year that's better than the previous year. So, shall we do this together? Yeah. Okay. So please join me in prayer, and I'll conclude this. Heavenly Parent, thank you for this Sunday morning. This is the last Sunday of this month, November 2025. As we are sharing here together, our beloved mother is in a small detention room being held there over 2 months. Heavenly Parent, in a number of hours, the trial is going to begin for her. Heavenly Parent, our deep desire is to make you happy, to make our true parents happy, and to bring a smile and warmth to our true mother's heart. Heavenly Parent, we each are in control of our lives, and you have asked us to take responsibility for our lives. So as we prepare now these next 31 days in preparation for the coming new year, Please guide each one of us. Help us to open up to you. Help us to look at our lives and reflect on even the smallest things, practical things, so that we can be able to shine more brightly, and that we can be your sons and daughters whom you can be proud of, and that we can make this coming next year, 2026, a truly victorious year, so that when 2027 comes, heaven will really be able to rejoice. So thank you for this morning, this Sunday together, brothers and sisters. I'd like to report to you in my name, Andy Compton, of a blessed family with gratitude attending our Holy Mother Han. Adieu.